Hello, my name is Rachel, and I just want to start this video out by saying I 100% completely understand if you want to give this video a skip if you don't want to watch this. This video is just going to be me putting on my makeup while I talk about the recent loss of a really close friend. And since, most of you won't know who she is and, don't have a stake in it, I completely understand if you just don't want to watch me spend I don't know how long being depressed, being sad, while I get ready to film some happier videos, but we'll talk about all that too. But yeah, so that's what we're going to do. I'm not even going to be talking about the makeup. I'm just going to be applying the makeup while I just chat about my recent loss. And yeah, so, and I hope this doesn't feel inappropriate to anyone. Basically this is me talking out my feelings kind of with myself, because talking to you guys and talking with you guys is cheaper than therapy, and it's helped me with so many things in the past, so I thought it could help me with this as well. And so I hope it doesn't come off as any way, I don't know what I'm trying to say there. But so last Saturday morning, it wasn't even that long ago, today's Tuesday, so what is that, 4 days ago? I was in Nag's Head with Bryant. We had gone to the beach with his family, and we left Saturday morning, so I had been busy, packing up and getting ready to go, and all that sort of stuff. We were getting the car ready, and I noticed my signal was a little weak there, and their Wi-Fi was just crap. and I noticed, I totally forgot to put this on first. See, I'm already not doing well, guys. But I noticed I had missed 2 calls from a really good friend, and I thought that was unusual because all my friends, nearly all my friends know, text me, don't call me. You can still call me as long as you text me first to give me a heads up that you're going to call me, and we arrange, a time when it's convenient, because I just don't like talking on the phone. So, and her name was also Rachel. Our friend group affectionately called her Red Rachel because she had the red hair. We had another Rachel with blonde hair in our group for a while. Blonde Rachel is still around. She's just now goes by Allison. But and then there was me. I was we were like the Neapolitan of Rachels. We had strawberry, chocolate, and vanilla by our hair colors. And and I am going to just be randomly throwing up photos on the screen, which may or may not have anything to do about what I'm currently talking about. I'm just going to be, I guess, memorializing by putting up photos of Rachel and I and other friends. Her, she'll be in all the photos, except for the photos I'll share of the cat, but we'll get to that too. Sorry, I have problems doing 2 things at once, so sometimes I'll also stop talking and I'll try to speed these parts up and sometimes cut them out. But so I noticed I'd missed 2 phone calls from her, and that was very unusual. And I tried to call her back, but I said, I had a really weak signal and the call wouldn't go through. So I just messaged. I sent her a text message saying, hey, I see I missed 2 calls from you. My signal's weak. I can't get through trying to call you back. Is everything okay? And I got a message back. Give me a second. Sorry, I have a feeling that's going to happen a lot filming this. I've been getting better, but... So I got a message back that said, no, this is Sarah, who is Rachel's daughter. Mama passed this morning. And I was in shock. I was so confused. You try to deny it at first. I'm like, this can't be right. But someone stole her phone, because her daughter wouldn't do something like that, lie or anything. I was like, maybe someone stole her phone, but But, as I sat there, it just slowly sunk in. And the thing was, like, I didn't even know she was sick. Like, I don't think she knew she was sick. She was diagnosed on a Wednesday and died early Saturday morning. So it only took 4 days. She was diagnosed with acute leukemia, which I didn't know what that was. I had to Google it, and it's a very rare blood cancer. And prognosis is usually 5 years. Like, most people, once they get diagnosed with treatment and stuff, will live at least another 5 years. But in some cases, it just progresses that fast. And a part of it could be that, it's been there for a while, but the symptoms can be, confused with other things. Because, like, one of the main symptoms is fatigue, but who isn't fatigued these days, right? And, she was a single mom working full time and and in Northern Virginia, so like an hour commute each direction, even though she was probably only, technically a half hour away from work. But because of traffic. So, fatigue would be normal. Like, the last time I saw her, because she still lives up in Northern Virginia, and when I moved to Richmond back in 2016, we just didn't see each other nearly as much because, again, she's a single mom, very busy. At the time, I was working night shift, and then the pandemic happened. And then, in the past, I guess since the end of isolation, I think I've only seen her 3 times. And we used to be, like, kind of inseparable. It was, when this is going to be all over the place again. I apologize. This is just me talking, in a way, just talking to myself, just sort of trying to, I don't know, can't really make sense of something like this, but, this is just me just trying to, just trying to heal a little, I guess. But so I met her. I'm gonna say it was around 2005. I have a terrible memory, and dates elude me all the time. But I'm gonna say it was around 2005. I was working in Fair Oaks Mall at a Select Comfort. I had been there since, I think, 2003, and I was there until 2008, if I remember correctly. So yeah, I was working at the Select Comfort in Fair Oaks Mall, and one of our sister stores in Springfield Mall needed some coverage. And usually when another store needed coverage, the district manager would call me, because I was one of the few people working at the time without a family and could just drop plans and go work an evening shift, because oftentimes the people with families want to only work the day shift so they can be home with kids and whatnot in the evenings. Anyway, all that's beside the point. The point is, so I went to the Springfield store to help out, and the person that I was, relieving, because, they didn't have anyone to work the second shift, but she was the opener, was Rachel. And we just hit it off instantly. She was just this amazing type of person. She had the most beautiful smile. She just radiated this positive energy. And you could take her anywhere. You could take her anywhere to any type of group of people, and she would make friends every time. She was just that type of person. Like, very outgoing. Kind of my complete opposite, really. But we just hit it off instantly, and I can't even tell you exactly when the friendship began, because it feels like the friendship just always was. It was that type of friendship where you just feel like it was always there, just instantly from the moment we met. And I started taking her to the goth clubs with me. She had, and when I first met her, she was actually going through a separation. She was a Air Force veteran, so she had recently left the Air Force. Well, I guess it maybe had been a few years since she'd left the Air Force, because she was a young mother at this point. She'd met her husband in the Air Force, and she had 2 very young children. I want to say they were maybe 3 and 5 at the time. Again, my memory is terrible. All these ages could be way off, dates could be way off, but But I'm gonna go with like they were like 3 and 5 at the time, because I know one was very young and the other was also young. When I met her, she was just going through this separation with her husband. He was a piece of work. That's like a whole other story. But, you know, at first they were, I guess she was hopeful they were trying to work things out, but he was just having his cake and eating it too, and he did eventually leave her completely, like fully, for his coworker who he eventually married and had another child with. So I started taking her out with me, and like the weekends, because at the time the father was still involved with the kids, and him and his new wife would get them, I believe it was every other weekend. So every other weekend, Rachel and I would go to the golf club. At the time in DC, there was it was dueling golf clubs on L Street in DC, 1 block from each other. You had Spellbound and Midnight. Midnight was there first, and then Spellbound came in. Like, it was such a scandal in the scene that DC City Paper, which, you know, covers like the nightlife and everything, actually did an article on the 2 competing goth clubs on L Street. But yeah, so they were only like a block apart, so we would walk back and forth between them and then get crepes at this cute little place when they all closed, because the crepe place would stay open till like 3 or 4 in the morning. But so that was how we met. And, you know, for a long time there, like I said, we really were like just constantly, whenever she didn't have her children, we were together. I didn't spend a lot of time with her when she did have her kids. Her kids were definitely her life. They were the most important thing to her ever. So like, she wasn't trying to do things you know, not kid friendly or without her kids when she had her kids. So and the entire time I knew her, she only dated a few times. She never got into another relationship. And, you know, she went on a few dates, but her kids were just more important. She just didn't have time for all that or interest in all of that. She just wanted to, you know, take care of her children. And her children are now, they're young adults. I want to say the youngest is 18 or 19 and the oldest is like 23 or 24, something like that. I can't remember. Again, I can't remember the exact ages and differences, but they all still lived at home. Like, the eldest has graduated college but still moved back home, and Rachel was so happy about that. She was so happy to have both of her kids back under her roof, and they were just a very tight-knit group, and I feel so bad for them, because you know, this is, I cannot imagine what they're going through right now. But yeah, so when I'm skipping back and forth. So that was like how we met. And then, you know, when I moved here to Richmond, obviously we didn't get to see each other nearly as much. And we've only seen each other like 3 times since isolation. But she, again, the type of friend that when we would see each other again, it was like absolutely no time had passed. We would just pick right up where we left off. And I don't know why, but I'm someone who forgets that I can message friends. I'm someone who forgets that it's an option to reach out to people. It's not that I don't love my friends, and it's not, I don't know, I just forget that it's an option, and I get so wrapped up in my own headspace and world that I can be a very neglectful friend. But if you message me and needed something, I would definitely be there for you, but you just might not hear from me for periods of time, if that makes sense. And so, like, the friends that stick around are kind of my complete opposite. The ones that, like, you know, I'm not a chatter. I'm not someone who has, like, long conversations often. I have maybe one friend I do that with, but mostly because, for the most part, she initiates it, because I'm not going to not chat if my friends initiate it. But I just don't start conversations, and it's the type of thing where, even though I feel guilty about that and I wish I had reached out more often, I know that's just the way I am, and that's not something that really is going to change. I'm going to continue being that way. But It's probably a bad idea putting all this eye makeup on. So back to, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. So the last time I did see her was back in June, because her birthday is June 20th and mine's the 27th, and we've often done something to celebrate together. So we just met at a Korean barbecue and ate a ton of meat. It was amazing. And the last time I had heard from her was actually just Tuesday. She went to the hospital and got diagnosed Wednesday, and the last time I heard from her was Tuesday. No indication anything was wrong. She just sent me that cute from the Barbie thing, but it's Ken in a goth Ken in a box. I'll try to remember to put that picture up corresponding with this part. But that was like, because that's what she would do, is every so often she would just send me a meme. I would reply to the meme, and a couple weeks later she sent me another one. But like, this is gonna sound crazy, because you guys know I just turned 50 years old, and somehow I have been incredibly lucky, incredibly fortunate to never lose someone really close to me. Of course I've lost extended family, but like 3 of my grandparents were dead before I was even born. The 4th grandparent died when I was 5, so I didn't really have any understanding of what was happening. I've lost some uncles and family friends that were like uncles, and but they were parents' friends, and we my parents had moved away from extended family because all my extended family lived in Baltimore, and when I was 3 years old my parents moved to the country in Virginia. So I only saw like those types of relatives maybe 2-3 times a year, so I wasn't super close. So of course when they passed I would be sad, but I didn't really feel the loss. And that was something that I didn't understand about this, I guess. Like, and I've lost friends too. I have lost friends, but the thing is, when I did lose them, when they did die, once again I was removed from them. They might have been someone I was really close to at one point in my life, but at the time of their passing, we hadn't even really spoken much in years. We weren't close. We didn't see each other anymore. So again, I was sad at the loss and remembering good memories, but I didn't feel loss. And I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but there's a difference there, and I didn't understand or realize that because you don't know until it happens. And I always did tell people when they would lose someone close to them that I can't understand what you're going through, and it was true because I didn't understand. I really didn't. And now I have more of an understanding, although I'm sure everyone experiences this differently and goes through this differently. But I really didn't, at first, they say there's those different stages, and I think I went through some of them. I don't know exactly what order they're in, but I definitely had that denial. And then I had almost a survivor's guilt type feeling where I didn't think it was fair because, like, I know that this is an irrational thought, so please don't worry about me for having this thought. But I actually had the thought of, I have no purpose in life. I have no real meaning. I'm not like a positive force out there. Why is it someone like her? She was younger than me too. She was like 4, maybe 5 years younger than me. She was younger than me too. It's like, why her? Why not me? I don't have kids. And I know that's an irrational thought, so don't worry, don't come for me, don't tell me, you don't need to reassure me on that. I know it was just an irrational thought. I know that I'm loved and people would be upset if something happened to me too, but I wasn't expecting that either, just like this random survivor's guilt on something that you have no control over. So that was weird. I wasn't expecting that. And of course, like the first day I couldn't stop crying. Like I just couldn't stop crying. And it's gotten better, obviously, because it's been 4 days, and it's gotten better. I'm not crying as much. Every now and then something will catch me, but I'm not crying as much, and that made me feel guilty too. That was a different type of guilt, I guess, different type of thing going on, where, you know, I feel guilty that I'm getting on with my life, but you have to, right? There's nothing else you can do. I feel like the next day, Sunday, I posted like my little short about the cute little Halloween mermaids that I found at the Home Goods at the beach, and I felt guilty about posting something happy. And I still feel a little bit guilty about, you know, what I'm doing now. Like, I don't know if this is the right thing to do, filming this video. And I have a little bit of guilt about that. Like, maybe because I don't want to make it about me, you know? And in this video, I kind of am, aren't I? But I don't know. I didn't expect to have all these weird feelings of guilt. And obviously, I have the guilty feelings about not being a better friend. But unfortunately, it really is just the type of friend I am. And she understood, and she accepted it. And like I said, whenever we were together, it was like no time had passed, and she knew that if she actually needed anything, she could reach out to me and I would be there, and vice versa. So I think it's okay. I think it's some people can, I don't know. I just feel a lot of guilt, you know? One sec. Okay. I'm fine. It just, you know, it's obviously because I'm talking and thinking about it directly. That you know, because like I said, the sadness is still there, but I'm not just, like, I couldn't, like Saturday and most of Sunday, I just couldn't just stop. It was just constantly there, you know what I'm saying? But it is better. But again, feeling guilty about it being better. That's not a bad blue. At first I thought it might be a little too pale, but I think that works. And I did just recently re-dye my hair, so nice match. But yeah, I think I'll be right back. I'm gonna go put mascara on. That way I'll have even more to pour down my face here in a second. So I just have lipstick left, but so yeah, that was my beautiful, amazing friend, Rachel. I feel so bad for her two kids, and I know that they have to feel completely lost without her. And the father really is, I don't believe he's in their lives anymore. He, from what I understand, went off the deep end at some point a few years back and fell down like a QAnon conspiracy theory rabbit hole and got in trouble for inciting violence or something like that, and is committed. I was her witness for her divorce. When the divorce finally went through for the two of them, I was her witness. I signed her divorce papers for her. But yeah, so I really do feel for the kids. And Sarah had put together a fundraiser and a GoFundMe, and it was heartbreaking because, you know, when she put it together, it was because she was worried about they couldn't afford the $5,000 deductible, because her mom did have insurance, I believe, but there's a $5,000 deductible when you have insurance these days, and they couldn't afford that. So she was putting together a fundraiser to raise money for the chemo. She was like, we can't afford the chemo, you know, because they had to come up with the deductible. And she didn't even have time to share that before it became a fundraiser for funeral expenses. I think she might have created it maybe on Friday. And yeah, and because like I said, I didn't know she was sick. If I'd seen the fundraiser asking for donations for chemo, that would have been a heads up something was up, but she didn't even have time to share it. And it just seems, I mean, you know, life isn't fair. It's just, you know, when I just saw her 2 months ago, she was her same energetic, full of life self. It's just hard to believe that it can happen that quick. Like, I had no idea that there were cancers that moved that quickly. You know, I thought when you lose someone instantly, it would be like from an accident or something like that. I didn't know that there were, you know, cancers you could get that would just, you didn't even get a chance to fight. And I am going to share Sarah's fundraiser down in the description box below. Obviously, don't feel any obligations. And I know we're tired, all of us. I know money is tight for most of us. I know, you know, we get fatigued at people constantly asking for help, and I understand that, and I understand, you know, for some people might think it's not, you know, that it's, I'm not sure what word to use, but because I don't want to be too negative on it, but maybe think it's, you know, a lack of pride to ask for help. And actually, I'm kind of one of those people where I tend to not ask for help. I try to figure out how to do it on my own regardless. And so I understand if it is something that you feel that way about, please just scroll past it. Please just don't say anything. You know, don't, like, I'm not even talking about me right now with this. I'm just talking about in general, when you see it out there in the world, just you don't need to make a negative comment about it. People are going through things. We're all going through things. And if when you're tired of seeing those calls for help, just keep passing. Just keep going. You know what I'm saying? Just scroll them past. But I get it. I do understand. But I guess I'm gonna go take a little bit of break, and then I'm gonna film 2 happier videos. So Friday and next Wednesday you'll get, I'm not sure what order I'll do it in, but there's gonna be a Temu haul and a Goodwill haul coming up. So if you did watch this video and you did, thank you. I really appreciate it. Like I said, this is just me trying to work things out. Just saying things out loud, talking about them, does wonders to help healing. And even when it's not necessarily, because you know what they say, like, it's not about wanting necessarily people's feedback. It's about wanting someone to listen. So I feel like this is like, but I do actually also want your all's feedback down in the comments below. Like, if you want to share a story or, you know, something like that, please do. And I do appreciate you guys. I really do. You guys have been with me through so much. You've just been wonderful, and say this to your friends often. Don't be afraid to say this to your platonic friends as well. Love isn't just for our partners, but I love you all. And I am so grateful that Rachel and I's last words to each other, our last physical words to each other when we met in person and had dinner, and when we left, we said "I love you" to each other. You know, she would always call me lady. I love you, lady. And then obviously, you know, I said it back because I did love her. Okay. I'll sign off in just a second. Give me one more second. Okay, I'm fine. But I'm sure there are things I forgot to talk about that I wanted to talk about, because you guys know I don't do scripts. I just ramble, and I'm sure there were things I wanted to talk about, but that's okay. I think I forgot to mention Biscuit. This is Jasmine's brother and Poose's half brother, Monster's uncle. So when I had all those fosters, I had Poos and her mother Nola, and each had 4 kittens. This was one of Nola's kittens, and so was Jasmine. So yeah, she adopted one of the cats from when I was doing that fostering thing, and where Monster, Poos, and Jasmine all came from. I think this is good. I think this did help. And thank you guys so much for listening. And goes back to that guilt thing. Like, just doing this makes me feel a little guilty. Like, I have to go off in my normal sign off. I don't know why, but like, just anything that makes me smile also makes me feel slightly guilty right now. It's weird. It's so weird. I did not expect to feel guilt, and like I said earlier, like I didn't understand the difference between sadness and loss, and this was a loss, and I've never really experienced this. I've experienced it to a much more minor degree with pets, because pets are family too. So I've experienced it with pets to a lesser degree, but I've never experienced these feelings before, and I was blessed that this is the first time in 50 years of life that I've really been having to deal with this. But I'm 50, and I have friends who are my age and older, and my parents are still with me, but I mean, the future, this is what the future is going to be filled with. And that's also a really depressing thought. And then that's what I was talking about earlier with the survivor's guilt. That's also a form of selfishness, where I would have rather it had been me, so I don't have to feel these things. And I wouldn't have to feel these things in the future. So yeah, that's definitely a form of selfishness right there, isn't it? Okay guys, I'm ending this right now. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't enjoy the video, feel free to give it a thumbs down, and please tell me all about it in the comments below. And please subscribe to the channel. And I hope everyone is staying happy, healthy, and safe in this incredibly crazy world we're living in. And I will talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.